oldies, we'll call them, with George Foreman, Ray Mercer, Tim Witherspoon, Buster Douglas, all of whom have name recognition clout to get big fights, and so they are still factors in the heavyweight division.
So what will it be? Supreme excitement because you have the two big heavyweights who tend to hit and get hit, or supreme disgrace because each of the last 4 fights involving these fighters have been total fiascos, and it could very well happen again.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension of fist and fury. But above that, the bizarre, a journey into a boxing ring where anything can happen. Next stop, the twilight zone of boxing. For your witnessing, a story about Lennox Lewis and Andrew Golota, one man who has never been in charge of his own destiny, another who is self-destructive. Viewer beware. What you're about to see is highly unusual. Lennox Lewis, a fighter in search of respect. Occupation, heavyweight champion by default. Flashback to 1992. Lewis was awarded a belt that Riddick Bowe had thrown in the trash.
Dennis wants his belt.
After losing to Oliver McCall, he waited 2.5 years for a rematch, only to watch a mental breakdown.
Well, I've seen some strange things in boxing. That is surely one of the strangest.
Next enters Henry Akinwande, who mysteriously forgot how to fight. Another disqualification. Lennox still waits in the darkest corner of the ring for the breaks that come to others and not to him. Just a walking distance from reality is Mr. Andrew Golota, an angry man who seems to carry on his shoulder a chip the size of Poland's national debt. Yes, he can fight, but some phenomenon forces him to box dirty. In his 2 disqualifications against Riddick Bowe, we witnessed one riot and countless low blows. Everyone knows you can't go back.
Low blows!
Or can you?
Goes Bowe again!
What you're looking at could be the end of a nightmare or just another beginning. Tonight, we may just find out if Lewis deserves to be called champion or if Golota can fight cleanly. Either way, this isn't just a boxing match. It's a one-way ticket to the twilight zone of boxing, boxing, boxing.
We are live at the Atlantic City Convention Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where moments from now, Lennox Lewis will meet Andrew Golota in a bout that we can only hope, will be free of controversy and full of hard-hitting action. Lewis Golota for a heavyweight belt is being brought to you by Caesars Atlantic City, Escape to the Empire, by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for a crisp, clean, classic taste, and by TVKO, entertainment that really knocks you out. A big crowd filling the inside of the Atlantic City Convention Center, much of the atmosphere of a European Championship soccer semifinal between Poland and England, as fans of Great Britain's Lennox Lewis and Polish-American Andrew Golota mass to root for their fighters in this giant heavyweight confrontation. 2 big heavyweights who hit and get hit. And welcome back once again. I'm Jim Lampley. Let's get ready now for the main event between Lennox Lewis and Andrew Golota. Of course, with us as always, boxing analyst Larry Merchant. And Larry, what's it going to be for Lennox Lewis? Is it going to be the definitive chance to prove himself that he's been hungering and waiting for so long, or another trip to the Twilight Zone?
Well, since past his prologue, we can't rule that out, certainly. But Lennox Lewis says that his mission as a prize fighter now is to rid the heavyweight division of all of its misfits. Good luck to him. That can take a couple of lifetimes in this sport. Meanwhile, Lou Duva, the co-trainer of Andrew Golota, insists that his fighter will not circumcise the rules. We hope not. And we also hope that he doesn't deliberately butt or throw low blows. And we hope that because Lennox Lewis probably is the heaviest puncher in the heavyweight division, and because Andrew Golota may be the most talented fighter in the heavyweight division, That's really what we came to see.
You may have already gotten the sense, incidentally, as you get ready to see what we've come to see, that we're vamping a little bit here. We're killing time because of Andrew Golota's late arrival, which has made Andrew late in preparing for the bout. In fact, he started to warm up, which is the common ritual for fighters before a fight like this, only a few minutes ago. And he has already once asked officials here to give him an extra 20 minutes to get ready for the bout. So if you hear the crowd booing in the background, it's because they don't understand what's going on as we stand and talk and fill time and wait for Golota to be ready. We are all on Golota time right now. And Roy, is this going to be a psychological advantage for him because Lewis is going to be made to wait too?
Yeah, it's going to be a psychological advantage for Golota because he's already setting the pace. He's making the champion wait for him. Yeah. That's something that is not supposed to happen. The champion, however, may be smart enough to come back and do something else to offset this, but that should never happen to a champion before a championship fight.
And it adds another layer to what has already been, in my mind, a challenge to Lewis, because Lennox is a supreme egotist. His life is entirely about him, and he's had to put up with a press tour to publicize this fight, which is, as you say, for his title, where almost all of the attention has been paid to Golota and the possibility of him fouling himself out again or fulfilling his vast potential.
The bad boys get the recognition. But if I were Lennox Lewis, you know what I would do, right? When Golota came in the arena,
I want to hear you say it.
I would have exited the arena.
You would have exited the arena.
Yeah, I'm not going to wait on him and I'm the champion. He's not going to play these psychological games to get the advantage on me. I'm going to play his game, I'm going to win his game, and I'm going to win my game.
All right, well, let's talk about what's going to happen in the fight. And we focused, as have most of the media leading up to the fight, on the question of whether Golota can fight a clean fight or whether he's going to foul out. Let's settle that if for a second. Let's go ahead with the hypothesis that he can fight a clean fight, that he's not going to foul himself out with low blows. Given that, what do you see happening?
If he goes in and fights the way Lou Dupa has instilled in him to fight, he could easily outbox Lennox, because Lennox has lately been coming in looking for the big punch. He's trying to knock everybody out with one punch. He's not putting combinations together like he used to do. He's not doing the things that made Lennox Lewis who he is today. So if he comes out and Golota fights clean and shows the heart, the will, the self-discipline, and the determination to win this fight, this is an easy fight for Golota to win. He's not a big puncher. He's mediocre, but he stays mediocre the whole time. He's in control. He has good body discipline, but he just has to get that inner self-discipline. If he can have that tonight, he can win the heavyweight crown.
Incidentally, to a limited degree, shades of July 11, 1996, the riot which followed Bowe Golota 1. Many of you may have been aware almost an hour ago of this fight in the arena. It took place in the upper level, and if we are judging from the colors on the t-shirt of the gentleman on the left, and it probably involved some fans of Andrew Golota, and maybe in fact both of them were Golota fans, because both of them seem to have some red and white on. But because of that fight that broke out in that section of the upper grandstand, officials here have determined that Lennox Lewis is going to be redirected on his route to the ring from his dressing room, is going to walk a different path than he would previously have walked, so that they can keep him away from that particular rowdy area and hope that there aren't going to be any more disturbances as the evening goes on.
Wouldn't want to walk him too
Tail
close.
of the tape now for Lennox Lewis and Andrew Golota. And you can see that Golota is 3 years the younger at age 29. Lewis has a 1-inch height advantage. They both weighed in at 244 pounds. Quite a coincidence, and causing many observers to say, gee, when's the last time in a big heavyweight championship fight that the two fighters both weighed in at the same weight? And you have to go all the way back to June 28 of this year, when both Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield weighed 218 pounds in Las Vegas. Reach a 2-inch advantage for Golota, who has, by acclamation, the better jab. Punch that numbers, Larry.
Here you see the average number of punches they throw. Golota is more of an action fighter than Lewis has been in the past, although Lewis promises to take the fight to Golota tonight. And you've heard of lies, damn lies, and statistics. Well, here's an example, because Lewis doesn't throw the kind of jab that Golota does. Golota has a jolting jab, perhaps the best jab we've seen in the heavyweight division since Larry Holmes. Lewis generally paws with his jab.
Rules of the bout with our ringside judge Harold Letterman.
The Lennox Lewis Andrew Golota fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
And before a crowd of 15,500, largest ever to witness a Lennox Lewis title defense in the USA, here comes Golota.
Come on, move your guy.
I can't see the fighter. I can't see the fighter.
Golota has been put under the microscope because of his dirty tactics, like a virus. And to his credit, he's handled it pretty well, with patience, some grace, and some humor.
293 days without fighting. He was scheduled to fight Ray Mercer earlier this year. The fight was postponed first because of a back injury to Golota, and then eventually canceled because of a neck injury to Mercer. So it's not because of Golota's desire or chosen path that he's been out of the ring for nearly 300 days.
Jim, this does evoke the kind of passion we've seen in soccer matches all over the world. And it's kind of an amazing really, that here in America, 2 foreign heavyweights have filled an arena like this and have created the stir that they have. A reminder that all of sport is turning international.
You can see fans who are able to reach over and make contact with Golota and the men around him. Obviously, this is not an easy place to secure the fighters as they make their way into the ring, and that's one of the reasons why they've already determined that Lennox Lewis, because of disturbances in the crowd, must take a different path to the ring than the one originally planned for him. Record for Andrew Golota, 28 consecutive wins prior to his 2 disqualification losses against Riddick Bowe, 25 KOs. This is his first appearance in a heavyweight title fight.
You think he's going to hit below a championship belt now?
Fighters' records tonight are being brought to you by The Ring, the Bible of boxing.
We're getting materially it's all up to you.
Lennox Lewis's credit, when he could make a hand-picked opponent for his title, he didn't take the path of least resistance, which is so much the custom today. He took the path of most resistance in Andrew Golota.
And there is havoc around the Lewis entourage as they try to make their way in. Red and white Polish flag dipping right down in front of the fighter. Lewis may feel as though he's playing an away game here. Jamaica, Canada, and Great Britain. Lennox Lewis enters the ring in America and apparently in sensational shape. The record for Lewis, 31 wins, second round knockout at the hands of Oliver McCall. Very quick stoppage. He was on his feet before the count was concluded, and you saw the knockout numbers. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the main event, brought to you by Main Events and your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you, along with Panics Promotions and Ziggy Promotions. This bout is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr., Chairman Jerry Gormley, Board members Gary Shaw and Stephen Katz, Deputy Commissioner John Greco, Chief Inspector at ringside Sylvester Kyler, the physicians in attendance at ringside Dr. Richard Snepper, Dr. Howard Taylor, Dr. Kenneth Remsen, Dr. Eric Wormser, and Dr. Earl Shaw. The timekeeper at the bell is Arthur Spell, and counting for the knockdown seconds, your alternate referee, Eddie Cotton. This bout is also sanctioned by the World Boxing Council President Jose Suleiman, WBC Supervisor at ringside, John Kofi. The three judges scoring this bout on the 10-point must system will be Marty Denkin, Chuck Hassett, and Barbara Perez. And when the bell rings, working for the 97th time in a world title bout, referee Joe Cortez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from the boardwalk home of champions, Caesars, Atlantic City, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white, trimmed with red, and weighing in at 244 pounds. In his professional career, he has registered 25 knockouts in his 28 victories, and he has suffered 2 losses by disqualification. Ladies and gentlemen, by way of the Windy City, Chicago, a native son of Warsaw, Poland, here is the pride of Poland. Introducing the challenger, Andrew Golota. And across the ring in the red corner, wearing red, trimmed with white, and weighing in also at 244 pounds. In 1988, he captured Olympic gold. And now, as a professional, in 32 bouts, he has 31 victories with only 1 defeat. And he has scored 25 knockouts. From East London, England, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the pride of Great Britain, the 2-time world heavyweight champion and reigning WBC Heavyweight Champion of the World, Lennox Lewis.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want good sportsmanlike conduct, obey my commands at all times. I want a clean fight from both of you. Understood? You understood, Andrew? Lennox? Okay, touch him up.
Can the foul pole become a fair pole?
and become a force in the heavyweight division? Can the true Brit show true grit and get the respect that he craves?
The stare down was good.
The stare down was real. They know each other pretty well by now, Roy. They had one of those lengthy press tours. They've spent day after day with each other. And it's a cliche, of course, but I don't think they particularly like each other.
I don't think so either.
Well, one has what the other one wants, and the other one wants it badly.
Who will land the first heavy punch between these two power punchers? Lewis starting off with a jab. Emanuel Stewart claiming his fighter's jab is quicker and better than ever before. Golota a little bit more tentative at the outset than he appeared to be against Riddick Bowe. Lewis lands a right hand over the top. Lewis stands in the corner and Golota lets him stand.
Step back. Let's go.
And they spin back out into center ring. Right hand over the top by Lewis. Golota momentarily stunned. Left hook by Lewis. Golota goes down. Only the second time in his career that Andrew Golota has been down, and he is extremely wobbly as he gets up. Lennox Lewis has a tremendous opportunity for a first-round knockout here.
All right, hold on. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't think Golota's ready. This is over. This fight is over. The referee should stop it already.
Cortez gave Golota a lot of time, but he has absolutely nothing as Lewis pounds him to the canvas again.
He won't make
That's it. That's it. Tremendous statement by Lennox Lewis.
A big statement. A tremendous statement.
He's been waiting for years, and it finally happened.
Andrew Golota had been warned by his camp that Lewis would come out quickly, but he still looked a little bit tentative to start out, as though he couldn't find yet the equation to land that good jab of his, and he let Lewis take the initiative. And Lewis, whom we said earlier is the biggest puncher in the heavyweight division, showed what we meant against this 244-pound giant.
I don't think Golota ever recovered from the first big right hand that Lewis landed.
No, I don't think he did either. When Lennox gets time to land that big right hand, it usually means trouble. When he hit Golota, Golota was not ready for it, and it took a bad effect on him.
And remember that Lewis had been saying all along he didn't want to give Golota a chance to land low blows, and the way to do that was to get to him early and hurt him early. There's nothing more definitive than what we just saw. It's certainly the most definitive, defining knockout in the heavyweight division since Mike Tyson was a young and dominant fighter.
Since June of 1988, when Tyson here knocked out Michael Spinks in 91 seconds. That's the last time you saw this definitive a statement in the heavyweight division. This was similar to what Roy Jones did to Montel Griffin. And Roy, you can identify with when it wells up in you over and over for years. You want this. Lennox wanted it so badly, and he got it.
Yes, he did, and it's very good to see Lennox back like this.
Here's the first overhand right. And Golota was hurt from that, and then the left hook. And Emanuel Stewart has been saying all along, hey, don't focus only on my fighter's right hand. That left hook is pretty heavy, too. First knockdown coming here. And Golota just with no defense against Lewis's power shots.
Yeah, but you also see Lennox putting shots together here, like I said earlier, that he stopped doing. He throws the 1-2, came back with another 1-2, and came back with even another 1-2. That's how Lennox Lewis got to be what Lennox Lewis was.
You know, no fighter in the heavyweight division has had more criticism heaped on him by reporters, particularly American reporters, in the past several years than Lennox Lewis. But through it all, not too many guys wanted to fight him. Not too many guys were stepping up and saying, well, let me have a shot at Lennox Lewis.
No.
And here's the reason why.
Yeah, because they knew the talent that Lennox possessed. It's just that he was hurt badly by the mishap on the Riddick Bowe situation. When he didn't get a chance to prove himself against Riddick Bowe, that hurt Lennox Lewis.
And every American critic presumed that Riddick Bowe was the better fighter than Lennox Lewis, but Golota's whole reputation was based on his 2 trips with Bowe, and off of this you have to say, well, how much was that? How good was Bowe?
Well, that goes to show you. And I don't think it was that Bowe was bad either. It's just that Bowe really didn't take this fight serious because he too cheated himself when he didn't fight Lennox Lewis when the fight was at prime time.
Another look at the intense first-round destruction of Andrew Golota by the thunderous punches of Lennox Lewis.
And that usually means that a guy is back.
Well, there's a statement. If you were wondering if the winner of tonight's fight could make a definitive statement that would put him in line as the obvious public challenger to the winner of Holyfield Moore, there it was. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 1 minute 35 seconds of the very first round. Referee Joe Cortez calls the fight to an end. The winner, and still WBC Heavyweight Champion of the world, the pride of Great Britain, Lennox Lewis.
It was the 6th quickest knockout ever in a heavyweight title fight. It was everything Lennox Lewis might have dreamed it could be and more. It was total destruction
Don't forget, ladies and
of
gentlemen,
Golota
December 6th,
and his
right here in
mystique.
Atlantic City by way of Caesars.
And here's
Atlantic
another look
City,
at the full first round in real speed. And Golota started off tentatively, Roy, and just never really got into it.
No, because he came here not prepared. He got here late. His whole night started just like he started. He started out late. He came in unready. He wasn't prepared like he wanted to be. And it shows right here. He's cold. He has no clue of really what's about to happen because he's not prepared.
That left hook by Lewis, driving Golota back just a little bit. Golota not even able to land his vaunted jab in the early going. That right hand drove him back, and that was a prelude of things to come.
Yeah, and sometimes it shows that he may have not been as serious as was Lennox Lewis. And it's so strange because in my fight with Montel Griffin, the second fight, Montel said the same thing. He said he didn't get a chance to warm up. You should have been ready 5 months ago. You knew we were coming to this.
This is professional boxing. You're supposed to be warmed up when you get to the ring, and it's your responsibility. That excuse won't work for what happened to Golota tonight. What happened to Golota tonight was legitimate Lennox Lewis thunder, and it showed on Andrew's face right there.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And here I think the referee really gave him more time than he was supposed to have to get himself back together. But I guess he wanted the fans to really see a good fight. You know?
Cortez all but gave Golota an obvious excess of time, but it didn't matter to Lewis, who mixed in a body shot in the closing barrage.
In my opinion, I think Lennox Lewis is back.
Well, as you look down the road toward a possible matchup between Lewis and the winner of Holyfield and Moore, you now have to ask the question, did Lennox look too good?
Well, I don't think he looked too good, but let me tell you what I thought that happened to Lennox Lewis. When Riddick Bowe was at prime time to fight Lennox Lewis, he was denied that opportunity to prove that he thought, or to prove what he really thought of himself. He was denied the right to prove that he was the best heavyweight champion, if and so he was. So that took all the esteem out of him. He had no self-motivation. He lost his esteem. He lost his will to train, to get up and run every morning. And that's how people like Oliver McCall get lucky and get on the scene. This happened because strictly political reasons in boxing. The reasons that people won't allow fighters to come together.
Let's hope that politics don't stand between Lennox Lewis and another chance to define himself within the division. Let's go to the ring and Larry Merchant.
Thank you, Jim, and congratulations, Lennox. how do you feel after finally making such a dramatic statement, that the kind of statement that people want to see in a heavyweight champion?
Well, basically, you know, I just wanted to go out there and make my statement to the world, because I want to prove that I'm the best heavyweight on the planet, and I want to consolidate all the belts together and keep them for myself.
Have you been turned from, I don't know, a big pussycat into a big tiger?
Well, I told Golota, welcomes to the lion's den, and you know, you could say the people were woke in a sleeping lion, and that was me. I just wanted to go in there and prove my point. I wanted to go in there and get rid of him. Like I said, I wanted to get rid of all the misfits in the heavyweight division right now. And, you know, Golota was the last person on my list. And I basically wanted to go out there and hit him before he could commit any fouls in there. Once I had him hurt, just take him out.
Did he look tentative or frozen to you when it started out, or waiting to see what might develop, and you just got to him before he could figure anything out?
Well, you know, I knew what my game plan was going in there. I just wanted to go in there and prove my point and not really worry about him. Everybody was making a big statement about the low blows and him being dirty. I didn't want to give him no chance to do anything dirty. Just going to go in there and do my job, go in there and hit him. Emmanuel Stewart said I'm an accurate puncher, so I just wanted to go in there and prove that I'm an accurate puncher. Once I hit him, you know, I knew he was begun.
All right, we want to take a look at what happened in the ring again and have you describe to us, Lennox, what you saw early on and how you imposed yourself on Golota.
Basically, you know, I realized that he was a bit tentative, you know, with his punches. He was basically waiting for me to do my thing, but Golota's never seen nothing like me. He's never seen my kind of speed, my kind of accuracy, especially my kind of punching power. Once he got hit, you know, you see what happens after one punch. You know, he basically reacted in a negative way and he was hurt.
When he got up again, wobbly, you knew it was the end, didn't you?
I knew it was the end because I felt the referee, you know, took a long while with the count. But I wanted to take my time and I was very intense.
All right, Emmanuel Stewart, you've been preaching to this lion for several years since you've begun to train him that he had the kind of ability to do this rather than to be a counterpuncher. Has he finally achieved what your dream was for him as well as what his dream was for himself?
Yes, I'm very happy. I've always said from the day that I first saw Lennox, he was the best heavyweight that I'd ever saw. And that's why I was excited when I got involved with him. But he's a puncher first. And the thing that amazed me about him, he's going back to his old days when he really was an aggressive person in the streets. But the thing about his accuracy is so much that if he punches, his volume goes up, his knockouts are going to, because he's a very accurate puncher.
All right, Lennox, what are you hoping for next?
Like I said, to consolidate all the championship belts. Lennox Lewis is still on a mission. I want to become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and that's my goal.
Thank you very much, and again, congratulations for a very convincing victory. Jim?
Final punch stat numbers are almost meaningless in the wake of an onslaught like that. Lewis landing 30 of 36 punches, 83%, 21 of 24 power shots. You don't have much chance to stand up to that, even if you're Andrew Golota. 2 of 10 for Golota. Let's look ahead just for a moment to the possibility of Lewis against Evander Holyfield or Michael Moorer. Holyfield, terrific fighter, terrific athlete. But realistically, Lewis is going to outweigh him by 25 or 30 pounds. How would Holyfield stand up to that?
Neither one of those guys don't want to see this Lennox Lewis. Now, if this Lennox Lewis can stay on the scene, there's no chance of even thinking about it. But Holyfield has the heart, don't get me wrong, but it's such a big disadvantage for him to deal with this weight. That's the same problem he had against Riddick Bowe, except that Lennox Lewis is a much more mobile opponent, and he's going to be very difficult for Holyfield to deal with if he comes like he came tonight.
And maybe a heavier one-shot puncher. And as for Moorer, qualified technician, the southpaw presents an interesting challenge, but he's got a questionable chin.
No, he doesn't have a chance with Lennox Lewis. He's not big enough. He can't take the punch. George already showed that he's a good fighter. He has a lot of heart. He go in there and try. He do his best. But I don't see him truly beating this Lennox Lewis. Now, if the other Lennox Lewis show up, he may beat him.
All right, let's see which Andrew Golota is with Larry Merchant as we go back up to the ring.
All right, thank you again, Jim. Andrew, you came late. You delayed coming into the ring. Were you cold in there? Were you not fully prepared for the start of the fight?
I don't know what happened. You know, I just got caught. You know, it's hard to understand to me that, you know, why did it happen? You know, and what can I do? Accident.
You never had a chance to use your jab convincingly to do anything. Was he just too strong and too accurate with his punches?
I was a little bit too pressure, I guess. Too nervous, you know, and
you say that you were a little nervous because of the pressure. In some ways, did all the talk of the low blows inhibit you, make you less aggressive than you would ordinarily be?
There's a lot of things, you know, happen, you know, in the past, you know, so I got to the disqualification. Everybody talk about it, you know, and a little bit too much, you know, but what can I do, you know, I can't just, you know, make guilt anybody else around, you know, because I lost the fight, you know, so.
You're saying that there was so much talk about the disqualifications that added to the pressure of fighting for a title for the first time. Would that be an accurate reflection of what you said?
Yes, you know, people couldn't believe they're not able to fight for the title. You know, and it just happened, just accident, not happened. And I'm sorry, Lou, you know, you spent so much time with me, you know, and you, Roger, you know, thank you, thank you both of you, you know, for a great.
We'll be back. You'll be
back. Great training, you know, and great
back.
time.
You'll be back.
But what can I do? Sorry.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Jim?
I'm not really sure he knows what hit him.
No, he doesn't. He's not aware of what even went on tonight, I don't think.
Still want to be a heavyweight?
Who, me?
Yeah.
You know, I do a little bit of anything. I'm not afraid of nobody, and I don't think that they scared me or nothing tonight. It's just that, you know, I do what I can. I'm not a fool. I know what I'm doing. I'm a smart fighter. I take chances. You never know what you can do. With God on your side, anything is possible. So don't count Evander out so quick either with Lennox Lewis.
No, but there are big heavyweights and there are smaller heavyweights, and this is a big heavyweight.
Yeah, he's a big heavyweight. I never really looked to fight a big heavyweight unless they paid me right now, and that would be something different. But
and they'll pay you a bunch.
No, I like doing what I'm doing. I'm enjoying myself. You know, I do what comes up, what's best for Roy. You know what I'm saying?
And we'll watch for more of that and look forward to it. Thanks very much, big guy.
Thing. You know
All
how
right.
that goes.
Larry Merchant, your final thoughts on Lennox Lewis's crowning moment of glory?
Well, first, Andrew Golota came late and left early. That's the headline on this fight. But I think that I'm pleased to see that Lennox Lewis has got some vindication because he's been an honorable fighter. I believe that because he was a foreign fighter, he never got his just due here. Imagine a man who's won a silver and gold medals in the Olympics, lost one fighter in 8 or 9 years. It's true, he hasn't often displayed such a crowd-pleasing style, more often a crowd-displeasing style. I think if he had been an American, he'd have gotten more benefits of the doubts. And I think the way he went about it tonight erased all of those doubts and moved the heavyweight division back into the spotlight and the sunlight. And now it's up to Evander Holyfield and Michael Moore to do their part, and hopefully we'll see a unification fight next year.
Indeed, well said. This was step one, and Lennox Lewis has made his statement. Now we wait for November 8, Las Vegas. Evander Holyfield defending the People's Heavyweight Championship against Michael Moore. And will the winner of that fight be willing to step up and give Lennox Lewis the opportunity that off of tonight's action he so richly deserves? We'll wait and see. So once again, in case you somehow joined this late, Lennox Lewis retains his version of the heavyweight championship with by far the most spectacular performance of his career. His first round knockout since way back in his 10th professional fight. He destroyed Andrew Golota in 1 minute and 35. Lewis Golota has been brought to you by Caesars Atlantic City. Escape to the Empire. By TVKO, entertainment that really knocks you out. By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. And by International Boxing Digest, the class of boxing magazines. TVKO returns in December with Oscar De La Hoya defending his welterweight crown against Wilfredo Rivera. Rivera, considered an awkward fighter, but a formidable opponent in his 2 relatively close losses against Pernell Whitaker. So now for Larry Merchant, Roy Jones, and Harold Letterman, I'm Jim Lampley, saying so long from the Atlantic City Convention Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The executive producer of TVKO is Ross Greenberg. Tonight's broadcast was produced by Rick Bernstein and directed by Mark Payton. Associate directors were David Hoffman, David Leitson, and Kendall Reed. Assistant to the producer, Thomas Erdelfelt. Production manager was John McKelly. And the technical supervisor, Bob Hunter.